Hey, everybody. Good morning. I hope that we're all doing well. As usual, go ahead and sound off if you like. Commenting that you're here will let me know that it's not just Belinda in the room talking to a piece of electronic equipment. Good morning, I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga. It's Tuesday, July 7, and we're here for our home yoga practice live. Yay, home yogis. I'm loving this journey so far. Let me know. Hopefully everybody did their practice over Saturday, Sunday, Monday, applying themselves on, acceptance and binding is what we worked on last week a bit. I hope that creating your practice plan is helping you. If you're new, please go to justbeyoga.com and check out our blog where we've been kind of showing like how this is developing into, I guess, a bit of a program on how to develop a personal yoga practice, how to set a plan, dedicate a certain amount of time, what we're observing and looking at, and maybe journaling, bringing in that element of study, svadhyaya, and then what guidance are we receiving? Who's your teacher? Is it a certain text or book? Is it a real life human being? Is it a video human being? Do you know how you're selecting your gurus? So all of those things come into play. Good morning, Gaia. I'm super excited because today, I don't know if you saw what I had posted out there. I was thinking this week, I'd like us to explore the theme. So last week was acceptance. This week, effort, right? And I got excited about it because I've been struggling sometimes lately with effort. And I'm not just talking about on the mat, as far as poses, but just like where I commit my effort into various aspects of my life. And when is it that I just kind of go pshaw and just leave something be? And how's that holding me back or helping me grow? But can I commit even just my thinking and my dedication toward effort itself? So good morning. I'm going to, Tuesdays, if you are new, is more of, I guess, like the philosophical framework day. We are going to move a little bit, but it's going to give us the context for what we're working on the week. Also gives us a chance to kind of get some feedback on how things are going with our practice. So make yourselves comfy, maybe get your journal. Get some water or tea. I'm definitely going to get a little water. It's been pretty hot here. I don't know where everybody is piping in from, but up here in Michigan, it's been in the low 90s, and for Michigan, that's kind of hot. Compared to my Texas days, ain't nothing, but I'm not in Texas. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit about effort. Now, we have been exploring, and I don't have my, actually, I'm going to take that one down and come up here. Tapas. So yoga has 8 limbs, okay? 4 and 4. So get that right, Belinda. 4 and 4. One is the yamas, and that's the ways of behaving outwardly and toward the external world and with others. Non-harming, non-stealing, truthfulness, moderation, and non-hoarding. I like to see it as the list of do-nots, right? And then the niyamas are how we're going to treat ourselves inside of ourselves toward our own growth and development. Purity, cleanliness, discipline, contentment. We did acceptance last week. Contentment is definitely one of them. Self-study, what we're observing about ourselves and what we're studying outwardly, and what is it that we're ingesting. I like to look at svadhyaya sometimes in terms of ingesting. What am I bringing into me? And is it contaminating me or is it helping me grow? And tapas, which I have here, heat, discipline, devotion. And then there's Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to something greater than ourselves. But those are the first 2 limbs. Then asana, yoga poses, breath practices, pratyahara, sense withdrawal, or I like to see it as awareness of our senses, not just withdrawing from them, but awareness of them and my relationship in them. Am I overindulging in some of those senses? And then we get into dharana, dhyana, samadhi, focus, meditation, and connecting or bringing it all in together. But today, effort. And effort kind of falls in the category of tapas, right? Of dedication. But I wanted to explore when we start talking about, especially when we're talking about developing a home practice, developing my own relationship to a yoga practice, that unto itself, making that decision, making that commitment is an act of effort unto itself. So I thought that I wanted to share just a little bit of thought pattern about it. And please, come on, jump on in there. Tell me what you think about effort. Effort really resounded with me today, and as a good point to focus on for the week, because, we're butting up against effort so much in this era of the COVID and the pandemic and all of the things that we can't do. Right. And when it comes to applying ourselves to some of the things that keep us safe, that requires effort and sustained effort. We're learning, right, in real life, real time, that takes something, right? So if we get all into the mask debate, right, it's very little effort necessarily to put one on. But it seems as though to sustain it or to chuck it off, to say, I don't want to do it right now, is about effort. And effort comes in, there's a lot of components that come into play that contribute to effort. Whether we feel or not it's worth our time, worth our energy, effort in terms of our money, effort, a lot of things come into play that contribute to our sustained execution of effort towards something. So here's a quote, though. There must be a basic impulse to grow, regardless of whether or not we will achieve liberation in this lifetime. It is one of yoga's fundamental tenets that no effort is ever wasted. Even the slightest attempt at transforming ourselves makes a difference. Sorry, I'll have to change that typo. It is our patient cumulative effort that flowers into enlightenment sooner or later. Patient cumulative effort that flowers into enlightenment sooner or later. That comes from definitely one of my keepers in my library, my yoga library. It's called Deeper Dimensions of Yoga. Please feel free to look it up. It is amazing. I also really like it because you can kind of jump in and out. You don't have to read it from front to back to get it. You can kind of pick your choice, pick your spot where you want to come in. Really short chapters, but really deep in nuggets. So yeah, how is everybody doing with effort? I would love to get a little feedback now. So if you want to kind of type in, maybe what are some hurdles to you sustaining some effort in your practice? Is it effort toward the physical part? Is it effort toward keeping some of those philosophical points in mind? What is your relationship with effort? So I'm going to wait. Hopefully, and see if anybody wants to jump in there and share a little bit about their relationship with effort. And it could also be about off the mat, sustaining effort toward a good diet, sustaining effort toward not polluting the planet, sustaining effort toward keeping a kind thought in our minds. Are there some folks that we just can't, or we tell ourselves we can't sustain a kind thought toward? What is is there a fight with effort? All right, come on, peoples, type in a little something. I've got some eyeballs. I can see them right there on the screen. So please, because otherwise Belinda's just teaching to herself, or at least having a conversation just with myself. Gaia, you got anything you want to share about effort? What is effort looking like and showing up for within you as you explore your practice? I'm sorry, I'm reading. Hold on. I'm exhausted from setting boundaries right now. I have a crazy neighbor who keeps harassing me to hang out. She's very superficial, has insulted my appearance. Woo! I try to be kind to her, and she's literally stalked me. Ow! All right. So then effort toward kindness, is that like what's being pushed toward its limits as far as sustaining it? That does seem like, whoa, that's a big one, and that's a hard one. But ahimsa is that very first limb, the first element of a yama, non-harming, non-harmful thoughts, and not sustaining that. That's you're definitely being tasked and challenged. Does it feel like a failure if our effort doesn't get to be sustained? And that's where maybe even like this quote can come into play as far as a little bit of helpfulness of patient, cumulative effort that flowers into enlightenment. Even the slightest attempt at transforming ourselves makes a difference. So even if we try a little and then stop, and then try a little and then stop, as long as we're continuing to return to it and studying what happened along the way, not in a judgmental or mean way, but to just say, yep, I tried it and I'm human, and I'm going to continue to sustain it, because kind of like what Bubba put out there. Forgive me if I've forgotten his last name, and but the NASCAR driver, in response to 45's insistence that he has some sort of a apology that is owed. But Bubba's response was really wonderful, because it says, love is what's going to conquer all of this. So to bug him about some retaliatory response, nope, he just said, look, let's just love one another. And loving one another is sometimes pretty darn hard. And maybe the effort toward kindness can be, well, you're seeing me now. Good morning. How are you? And say it as that. And also, just to kind of draw from my Buddhist background, love and kindness takes different forms. Okay. Because sometimes stepping away is the loving and kind thing to do. How we do it is, how we execute that is where the wise action, wise intention, and wise words come into play. So yes, I hear you. Thank you so much for sharing that vulnerability. Good morning, Ansel. Been thinking about effort necessary to evaluate my practice. I've learned how to set goals, but I rarely put effort into checking if I have reached them. My friend, thank you very much. Do we reach them? Okay, so we can have something that we want to practice, but is there such a thing as attainment? I used to have a debate chat with my Lama and said that I wanted to know that isn't actually the pursuit of enlightenment unto itself, a goal that I need to set aside if I'm supposed to be practicing impermanence and non-attachment. So remember that the path to yoga is practicing and detachment. So the putting an effort towards something that we never attain creates its own struggle. The best thing is silence. Wonderful, Gaia. And then you've got to look at where's that residing inside of ourselves. And if there's something that's feeling discontented with the silence, where's your discontent that needs to find some peace, that sattva? Are you satisfied with that silence? Or is there something in your voicing and your authenticity that still needs to be expressed? Does it need to be expressed to that person? Does it need to be expressed within? So I recommend for this week, if we're wanting to explore a little bit more about effort, to definitely look up elements about tapas or dedication and effort as it regards to our yogic principles. So you can look them up in the sutras. You can look them up in terms of the 8 limbs. Remembering that yoga is not Buddhism, but if you do want to look up effort is one of the elements of the eightfold path. There's an eightfold path toward enlightenment, and effort is one of them. Correct and proper effort. So our actions, our words, effort, intention, view, livelihood, concentration, and meditation. All of those are the eightfold path toward this liberation from the constant cycling of suffering. All right. Thank you all so much. I think the only other aspect that I had wanted to drop in as we start to step onto our mat for some movement is when we're reflecting on effort, looking at whether or not we feel as though we need to be getting a return on our investment for effort. Because we often say something isn't worth our time or worth whatever, worth my effort. And so then we're assigning a value to our effort. And I think that even this quote that I put up there, even the slightest attempt can make a difference. But if we're applying that ROI, we might start to let go of effort if we feel as though we're not seeing that result. And that might actually speak a little bit toward what Ansel is saying. I even catch myself on looking at a 1-for-1, right? Even sometimes if I'm teaching a class and the next day I'm just like, well, that must have meant that class sucked because, 10,000 people didn't return the next day. And I looked at my own assignment of some sort of value or some sort of return on investment. And am I practicing for that as a reward to show me that it was valid? Or can I just be doing that practice and putting that seed into me? And I have to remind myself that the sharing of this practice of yoga is a sharing of my practice, not for me expecting some reward back from you all. So I put that out there for us to reflect on as we start to put into play some of these aspects when we're working on a pose, when we're working on a breath, that we ultimately can start to look at, can I assign and apply a certain amount of effort without any desire of an outcome or expectation? Keep working that and keep looking at that, Ansel, because if you're having an expectation, that it's almost automatic that once we assign an expectation, we're going to be disappointed. And so how do we put that effort out there, put that loving kindness out there, put all of that dedication out there with zero expectation of a reward in return? And that then becomes the blossom for the flower of the pure intent, the pure intent. And it's hard, period. It's just hard. All right. The other aspect that I wanted to put in for today is, so make our plan for the week. Maybe based on what we've just talked about, writing out your plan for what is it that you want to practice this week. For me, effort, and focusing on where am I putting in my effort? Am I straining in my effort? Am I letting go of my effort in my practice? That's going to be my plan. Poses is also going to be a part of the plan. And this week, for the purposes of giving some structure, please find your own, but I'm going to think about 4 postures to work on throughout the week, assigning that thought about effort. One is going to be a one-legged balance base, and for me, it's going to be half moon. And I'll show it. We'll work on it. It's called Ardha Chandrasana. The next is going to be an arm balance. So a one-legged balance, standing balance base. One is going to be an arm balance base. I'm going to choose Bakasana or crane for myself. Okay, and you can choose one for yourself. The next is going to be an inversion, and with that, it's going to be dolphin. And dolphin is a 4-arm down dog. Again, we'll show that in a moment. And then lastly is going to be a reclined space. And within that reclined space, it's going to be half hero, half reclining hero. And again, I will show that. It's Supta Virasana or Ardha Supta Virasana. So we're going to move a little bit, practice and get the body moving through some sun salutations, and then we'll work through all 4 of those. As I start to get into the one-legged balance, if you're like, meh, that one doesn't work for me, I'll come through a few alternatives. Remember, I'm offering tips for you to guide yourself through your own personal practice. You want to choose a different pose, that's going to be the one that you're focusing on for this week, okay? One-legged balance, an arm balance, an inversion, head beneath the heart, and then lastly, a reclining posture. That could just be corpse pose, you know? All right, so let's make ourselves comfy. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga with our home yoga practice this week. Main theme is going to be effort, 4 postures that we're going to choose to work on for ourselves. Maybe reflect on, what's the effort that I'm going to be confronting inside of that? Why am I even choosing that posture? So we'll do our check-in. So let's make ourselves nice and comfy. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you, Ansel, for your share. I really appreciate it. It takes the community for all of us to find our practice. We learn from what we all encounter. Something resonates when we get to share. So let's let the dust settle from all of that kind of barrage that I rapid fired out there. I've got to learn how to slow down. Invite yourselves to your mat. Invite yourselves and your awareness into your bodies. Check in with the bodies. What's tired? What's overly charged and has energy that needs to be released? Any injury? Feel the shell itself, the bone, the flesh, and then the functions. Digestion, respiration, nervous system. Arrive in a sensory check-in with ourselves, not a thinking check-in. And then arrive into the breath, just feeling it and following it. Inquire of your breath, how are you? Check in on its relationship with the physical body. Check in on its relationship with our mental body. And allow the awareness to settle into the mind, trying not to stop the thoughts in the mind. Use the check-in to observe what is going on. What is happening? If our mind is stopping and hovering over a specific spot, watch it do that. If it's jumping from thing to thing to thing, watch it do that. And if you start to go down the rabbit hole of the actual thought, of the memory, bring yourself back. I'm in this room. I'm on my mat, in my skin, with digestive functions and breathing functions, circulatory functions. If you'd like to join with a single Om, let's do that together now. Sitting up tall in the spine. Feel your effort right now in your physical body. Where are we straining? Is strain effort? I'm just going to ping questions. Notice how your mind is even receiving that suggestion. And look at the effort in your mind, the effort in your breath, and the effort in your bodies. And deep inhale. Feeling the difference between overexertion and under-application, sloth or procrastination versus overdoing or trying to prove. Where's that balance? Remember sattva, rajas on the overly intense end of things, tamas on that inert, apathetic end of things. Where's the sattva of sustainability, where it's almost regenerative? I've been really enjoying turning my attention toward regenerative rather than just even sustainable. Regenerative, where it's plugging something back into it so that it's continuing to grow. And I like that element of growth in the quote that I had shared with you all. All right, I'm going to move. I'm going to try to remember to give some guidance for those who are new so that we can have a practice that is toward everyone's ability. So I'll offer some cues for modification. We'll come to our child's pose. Stay with that awareness of our physical body. We're here to join together our mind, breath with body. Working together, the mind is not in charge. The breath is not in charge. The body is not in charge. A mutual respect relationship. Feel your effort in your pose. You might want your knees wide, creates better space for the belly and the torso. Ease and steadiness, sthira sukha. If this isn't comfortable on the knees, you can wait. We're going to be coming upright in a moment. Feel your breath. Feel your effort in your breath. Finding the range of expansion and release. Feel the range of applying your attentiveness, that dharana, that focus. Feeling the body in length and rootedness. We're going to do a few sun salutations, waking up the body, lubricating the body before we commit to single poses. Breathing in, coming forward to hands and knees. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up, finding our down dog. Your knees could be soft your first time in here. Now, if this is new for you, if you're brand new to coming here, you could come down to your knees. Down dog, if this is very new, can use a lot of energy. Everyone, feel your effort right now and your energy. Don't exert more effort than energy you have. Effort has a lot of twining in with desire. Can we separate our desire from the amount of effort we can exert? Breath in. Exhale, we'll bring one knee down as a way to come up as an accessible way. Step the other leg up. Step both legs up. Look at your feet. They could be apart or together. Be deliberate and intentional. Spread the toes. Feel and awaken your awareness in the feet you're standing on. Breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release the upper body. Breathe in, lift the spine. Try not to lock the knees. Be intentional in standing in your legs. Exhale, release the upper body. Feel your entire spine, each vertebra releasing. Rolling the spine up, coming upright to mountain. And feel your awareness and your effort in standing. We'll do a sun salute A with modifications, and then I'll guide us through finding a certain number that you want to find in moving through your sun salutes. Breathing in, growing tall. That could be hands at prayer, intentionally lifting the chest, or you can lengthen the arms up but shoulders down. Exhale, forward fold. Breathing in, lifting the spine. Your hands could rest on the shins or on your knees. Hands coming down, step back to plank. On hands and knees, plank as a nice accessible way of going there, or you could be in your extended plank. Breath in. Exhale, lower ourselves down. Arrive on the floor. Feel the belly in contact with the earth. Breath in, lifting the chest. No tension in the buttocks. Respect how much your chest wants to lift. Feel your chest and the rib cage bending. Where's the breath? Downward facing dog or hands and knees. Take an inhale. Exhale. If your legs are straight, press the heels back, contract the thighs. Feel your effort. What's going on in your legs, your feet, your hips? If you applied effort upward, what would you feel in ease somewhere? Or fight? How are you pressing down into the baby pinky edge of the palms? Could you use the index fingers and thumbs more? Breath in. Look forward. You can use that knee down transition or step the legs up. Half flat back. Forward fold. So choose your modifications. I'm going to choose to do 3 of these. Breathe in, rising all the way up. This is the beginning. Forward fold, release. Breath in. Stepping back, choose the form of plank you want. Breathing out as we're lowering. Feel the effort in the body. Breath in. Not strain. Breath out, down dog. Breathe. Look forward, travel the feet up. Start to feel your own cadence. Lengthening through half flat. Forward fold, practicing releasing. Breathing in, rising all the way up. And see if you can commit toward sustaining this effort consistently. Being present in arms, in core, in organs. In a calm space, do you have the same pacing through all of the postures? Or are there areas in this sequence where you kind of have a drive-by moment? What are we missing in awareness and intention? I'm coming through my 3rd one now. I wanted to do 3. Maybe you wanted to do 5. Notice your mind as you continue through on that effort. Is your mind staying on the mat? Is your mind saying it's bored? Where are you in your focus? So I did my 3. Going to do sun salute B now. Bending my knees, pulling my butt back, sinking in the hips, lifting in the chest, weights in the heels, forward fold, let it go. Going to show a modified B to start it off. We're going to step the right leg back, back foot flat, right toes aiming to the front right corner of the mat. You could walk your way up that left knee, bringing yourselves up to warrior 1. Breath. Hands down, step the right leg up, trading it out. Making your way up. No rush. Hands down, step to plank. Lower through. Cobra. Down dog. Okay, so I gave that as a modified way of doing sun salute B. I'm going to apply myself toward 3 of these, but I'm now going to do without it in a modification. So the modification I did took a lot of the push-ups out. So if you're feeling like, yeah, I can't do a bunch of those, I know that that is not a sustained effort, do the one we just did. If you want to see about sustaining an effort, choose the number that you want to do. I'm doing 3. Breath in, exploring length in the spine. What does that mean? Exhale, look forward, step, walk, or jump the feet up. Half flat back. Forward fold. Chair, breath in. Go to your modification now if you want. Forward fold. Half flat. Stepping it back to plank, lowering through. Breath in. Breath out. Right leg lifts. Stepping it through. Notice the care that you take to bring it there. Can you sustain that care in effort? Breath in. Breath out. Step. Lower. Breath in. Breath out. Down dog. Left leg. Stepping it through. Breath in. Breath out. Maybe the pacing needs to be adjusted for you to sustain your effort. Remember, why are you on your mat? Look forward, step, walk, or jump the feet up. Half flat back. Forward fold. That was 1. Here goes number 2. Breath in. Breath out. Half flat. Stepping it back. Lowering through. Ease and steadiness. Down dog. Right leg. Feel connection of breath and mind and body. Exhale, foot through, coming up. Warrior 1. Bringing it down, smooth and even, be present. Feel your skin, feel your bones, nervous system, digestive system, breath system. Are you rooted? Are you applying too much energy in over-efforting? Step, walk, or jump the feet up. Half flat. Forward fold. Feel the body warming up. Last one for me. Breath in. Breath out. Half flat. What wants to rush? Stepping it back. Lower. Inhale, offering the heart. Exhale, Down dog. Right leg lifts. Don't sacrifice breath for posture or pace. Step it through. Inhale. Ease and steadiness. Hands down. Step. Lower. Breath. Down dog. I feel like I kind of sped up, so I'm trying to work on that. Breath in. Bring the foot through. Inhale. What am I observing in the body as it's warming up, as it's acclimating, as everything is starting to loosen? Let's find child's pose. Feel your heart beating. Stay connected to your practice plan. Why are you here? Feel the results of effort. Feel your honesty about your effort. Coming forward to hands and knees, down dog. I'm going to bring myself up to the top of my mat and roll my way up. All right. I had said a one-legged balance pose is going to be an area of practice for the week. So I've chosen Ardha Chandrasana for that. I'm going to recommend that you have a block. And we're going to start with the block out in front of us. Now, if there's a different posture that you know you would prefer to practice, please go ahead and practice it. This is the one I'm going to break down. For time purposes, I can't break down a bunch of them. So I'm going to stick with Ardha Chandrasana. So I've got this block, pulling the chest forward, feeling the effort of my torso sustaining itself, lengthened forward. Feeling the effort I'm actually applying into my legs to give me a root and foundation. Now I can super duper push down with my right and say, yeah, that's over effort. Super duper push down with the left. But it's letting me know and learn, like, oh, how much am I applying? So I can find a nice even balance base of it. All right, so I'm going to recommend, I like my legs together here so that my feet are toward my midline and they give me the best amount of support. If I'm too wide out, once I come into one leg, I'm going to have to lean more to the other side. All right, so my legs are together, practicing that spine. I'm going to lift my right leg up behind me. Now, this could be where some of you want to stay. A modified warrior 3, and feel the effort of standing in the left leg and extending back through the right and extending the torso forward. If you're wanting to go further, I'm going to twist that hip open. If you're wanting to go further, that right hand can come to your right hip. All right, so here is the beginning of a nice modified Ardha Chandrasana, just using the block instead of my hand to the floor. I'm going to stay there for today. Tomorrow in power might be a different thing. Is my torso turned? Is my left leg getting fatigued? What is the sustained effort doing in my body, my breath, my mind? Are we hitting a time limit on my sustained effort? Maybe lift the right arm up toward the ceiling. Are we still lengthening the torso? Have we stopped working the posture? Now I'm going to put considerable effort into coming down smoothly, sequentially. And then bring myself back up. And feel that space. Check in with the left leg, the hip, the leg that had been free, the spine, the chest. All right, I'm going to get ready for the other side. So choose your posture. I'm just going to turn here so that it's visible. And then if you don't need a block and you would prefer to have your hands on the floor, that's fine as well. Still practicing the spine, lengthening forward. How does that length sit with us? How is that helping us create more space? What are we learning about our physical bodies, our physical shell that we live in? Checking out the house. When we're ready, we'll lift that left leg up. Remember, we can stay right here. My right hamstring is already singing a whole different tune than my left one had. I'm going to twist that left hip open. I'm going to be greeted by a feline. Left hand can maybe, if I can find ease and steadiness, come to that hip. Turning the torso. Maybe lifting that left arm. State of the breath. State of the mind. What are the feet doing? What are the muscles in the upper thigh doing? Where is your attention? If you brought it to that upper thigh, how could you help apply more or less effort? I'm going to gradually, sequentially close the hip. Bring that leg down. And roll my way up. Roll the shoulders. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through that again. I would have ideally wanted to go through that posture 2 or 3 times. Remember that time was an element of our plan. We make our plan, and then we also assign some time as a way to kind of push new envelopes. Like, oh, okay, I can do that for 20 breaths, and maybe next week I'm working on 30 breaths. But for the sake of time today, I was able to go through that once. So the next posture I said was going to be an arm balance. And that's going to be Bekasana or crane. All right. Now I'm going to give options once again, and that's toward what's accessible. So first, can we come to a space like this? So already a contraindication could be knees or hips. And if so, we could do maybe an arm balance against the wall, as far as maybe a handstand against the wall. Or you could skip the arm balance as a posture that you want to explore. What's great about arm balance in terms of effort is that we often over-effort. We over-effort physically, we over-effort mentally with that expectation element. Either the expectation of either wanting it or the telling ourselves no. And so we under-effort it because we tell ourselves we can't, with that defeatist kind of mentality. or fear. Okay, so there's not a judgment. I do want to kind of strike that if that came across attitudinally. All right, so palms are down here. Remember that a lot of times these postures are about exploring capacity and possibility. Capacity and possibility. Today, right now, not a future space. So if you notice here, I've got my knees clamping against the outside of the arms, above the elbows. Got the palms shoulder width apart, and I'm going to shift forward. So just doing this kind of pinching action with those inner thighs. That's a great way to start. Shift forward, gaze forward, and breathing. All right, so that could be where you stay. Practicing that, shifting front and back. I'm going to turn sideways now. Because some of you may be able to, and that has to do a lot right now with not only the strength of the knees and the healthiness of the knees and the feet and the ankles, but how much flesh profile, right? If I had more flesh here, I wouldn't be able to lay the belly flush here and be able to get those arms above the knees. Okay, so now the knees are on my tricep or the upper arm part. As close to the armpits as I can. Palms are down, gaze and chest up, shifting. Now you can stay here. You could lift one foot. You could lift the other. Crane. Breath. Remember I said I would normally want us to maybe find a way to cycle through a couple of times through that. But I've given us a breakdown of a basic as well as coming through Bekasana to our best of our abilities. Hips lifting, chest forward, a lot to confront, a lot of fear, a lot of face smashing is the fear. So what can we sustain? Do we want to repeat it, right? A lot of times once that first time happens and we might maybe consider it a failure, we knock out on the effort and say, nope, I don't want to do it again. And we get to look at how much desire influences our application of effort. Okay, I said dolphin. All right, inversion, starting to cool that energy down, all right? So we did a standing posture on one leg, needs considerable effort, looking at our relationship to gravity, that upright stance against gravity. Of course, the arm balance, tons of effort because there's a lot of fire needed to bring all of that weight bearing into the upper body. Inversions, get to cool some of that energy down. So I'm doing this in an order, starting to bring us down. I'm going to bring the arms parallel like railroad tracks. Don't let the hands come together. And then we're going to see if the rest of the body can go to down dog. So I'm going to keep my arms where they are. And I'm going to lift the butt and drop the head down. Pushing down and forward through the arms. Now you may already be done. Sustain. Calm. Lengthening. Feeling effort in a space that maybe really makes us confront a lot of chatter in our minds. All right, so now the last one is going to be our reclining half hero. A pillow might be required. Now, again, if there's a knee or hip contraindication, which it may be, depending on who's present here, you might want to just have a supported back bend with a pillow across your back. I'm going to show you where we're going. here, and then I'm going to recline backwards. But that means I really would like to see if we can set ourselves up with a firm bolster. If you don't have a firm, like, yoga bolster, your regular bedtime pillow might not have enough firm support that you may need. But you could stack a couple, maybe. So we'll bring one foot here. Now, for some of you, you might prefer your ankle to be turned outward that way. My body does not like that at all. It puts a lot of load on the inner ligaments of that knee. So the top of my foot is more agreeable to that happening. Now I'm going to bring the bolster up against my back and recline. And apply effort to being right here. Now there's a lot of intensity. Remember I said you don't have to bend this leg. If you prefer to have the bolster just underneath of your hips and you're lying outstretched on your back, you get a nice back opener, heart lift, along with the restoration and the calm of a recline. Assigning a time to this, number of breaths, number of minutes. Maybe repeating a mantra to yourself, practice and detachment. Practice and detachment. I'm feeling effort of resistance in certain ligaments and tendons in my hips and pelvis. Noticing my awareness, that focus, bringing it there. Asking it, can it calm? Can it trust to release? Applying effort toward trust. Observing what transforms when we apply and spend time with effort. What transforms physically? What transforms breath-wise? What transforms in the mind? So when the body isn't screaming, where does the mind go? Can it continue to sustain its focus here? Or does it start to run off down some rabbit hole in our thinking? Let's take our time and invite switching to the other side. No rush. Honor the body parts that were being stretched, maybe strained. Moving mindfully and with kindness. Letting how we move in the body be a reflection of our limbs of yoga. Are we practicing that ahimsa? Are we practicing that dedication and a truthfulness? Ooh, other side. Ooh. Accepting that so much transformation has already occurred in the last 5 seconds in this pose. Because the first 2 seconds, had a whole different thing to say than it's saying right now. Meet yourselves where you are. In capacity and possibility. What are we practicing? Have you surrendered to the pose? Have we let go of an expectation? We're just here to connect mind, breath, body in a non-distracting way. If we encounter a fight, can we stay? If we encounter boredom, can we stay? If we encounter a negative thought, a desire to quit, can we stay? Practice breath, practice body. We'll gradually bring ourselves upright. Be kind. Ease that leg out from under us. And we'll make our way to a seated space to close together. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga. You've been hopefully here practicing with us for our home yoga practice live on Tuesday. Tuesday, we go a little bit more into some philosophy in the Svadhyaya realm of things. What is it that we're going to practice and study this week? Effort being one of them. The main thematic of the week. I'll play up that quote once more. There must be a basic impulse to grow, regardless of whether or not we will achieve liberation in this lifetime, whether or not we will achieve whatever is the expectation of the growth that we have. It is one of yoga's fundamental tenets that no effort is ever wasted. Even the slightest attempt at transforming ourselves makes a difference. So doing it for doing its sake. It is our patient, cumulative effort that flowers into enlightenment sooner or later. And enlightenment, in my thinking, in my practicing, is just being aware of. Light shined upon something and I got to see it, even if it was transient. That was a moment of enlightenment. And usually it's transient. All right. I am so grateful for everyone who has joined. Write out your plan for the week. If you're just joining now, go to our blog, check out this kind of programming that we're creating, writing a plan, putting out our time, amount of time we want to commit, observing. Hopefully after today, we're writing down some observations about effort and what we're learning about ourselves, or even just questions, and then guidance using maybe some of the reference points that I've given us. Hopefully you'll join us for the rest of the week as we continue to put this plan in action. Tomorrow is power. Thursday is finding new edges and exploring new spaces. On Friday is the basics. Join us this Friday. We're doing a special virtual yoga at 9:00 at night, a glow and flow with the Arts Council of Greater Lansing, Arts Night In. So we're going to hopefully stimulate our creative muse, get a bunch of glow bands, make a bunch of creative fun looks and feels out in the nighttime sky virtually. All right. Hands to the heart center, holding your intention close to your heart if you like. It doesn't have to be this. It can be whatever it is for you, your own personal practice, your spirit practice, whatever helps you remember, why am I here? Honoring the energy that you've just cultivated for your spirit, and may it serve you as you intermingle with others and encounter others off the mat. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga. Namaste. Thank you all so very much. Went over a little bit on time today. And check out our blog, check out What was I trying to say? I don't know. Oh, tonight is our curvy yoga class. So Yoga to Excel, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Okay. Thanks again so much. Good to see you, Gaia, and good to see you, Ansel.